Hello, everyone. This is Fabienne from the Leveraged Business Program, and I am joined by Karolina today, who wants to inspire you to grow your business, but doing it your way. Welcome, Karolina. Introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Karolina Rzadkowska. I'm an alcohol-free empowerment coach. I help women not only ditch alcohol, but once that's cleared out of the way, I help them dig into their deeper purpose and, really do the big thing that they're meant to do in this world, whether that's launch a business or become a coach or write a book, which is really exciting. And we also host a certification program now to bring people full circle of wanting to help the past version behind them.
Love the work that you're doing. I would love to have us go back to what your situation. When did we meet exactly? Was it like a year and a half ago? When did you first come into the program?
Yeah, I joined Leverage April 2022.
Okay, yeah. So about a year and a half ago. What was your situation like when you were at that point where it's like, okay, I need to get some help? Describe your everyday. Describe your challenges, whatever was coming up for you.
Sure. Well, earlier that January, my first book, Euphoric Ditch Alcohol and Gain a Happier, More Confident You, just came out. And before that, I was, I had a virtual assistant, but I was really, in essence, a solopreneur in so many different ways. And I knew that the book is going to set the stage for my career and really be able to ramp up a lot of our programs and a lot of our offers. And at the time, I think I was, I've been in a few masterminds before, but nothing as formal or as like in depth or long as something like Leverage. And I was really feeling from my soul that I needed that level of support to get to the next level, and that there was a really big next level to literally leverage in my business. It's the perfect word at that time. And I remember actually looking around at that time and finding a mastermind with another woman, I won't name them. And I just found so much like a lack of integrity on the internet about the program and just like things that weren't good. And I was like, once I found you, like all of those fears went away. Like there's just so much soul level led support here. And I just knew that I needed that kind of container to go to the next level. And so, at that time I was, managing, all my own one-on-one clients. I had a group, but it wasn't really like that leveraged yet or anything like that. And, today, flash forward, we can go into it, but we run 3 different groups at a time. I get a lot of support from my team. We're making at least 3 times as much as we did back then, if not more. And it's just a completely night and day difference.
So you were already at 6 figures when you entered the program, but it was mostly one-to-one with a little bit of group, but not the traction you wanted.
Yeah, I would launch like 2 groups a year and basically have like 10 people go through them. So it was like a drop in the penny compared to what I wanted. And, with the one-on-one, it was in 2020 that I got really burnt out with that, really, really burnt out. So I kind of already learned the hard way that there's nowhere to go if you want to go up in that model. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was really looking for an alternate. And it was really beautiful when I joined your program. That's when I decided at the same time to hire basically a mini me, to hire a coach that works under me. And that saved my life in so many ways. And I learned that through your program. But, now I was able to really leverage the support that we're able to offer more groups, offer more in-depth support, and even if something is like coming to trouble one of our members in a group, like I can always offer her even a free call with my coach. And it's not eating away into my work week and making it so much harder to juggle the things I already have to juggle. So that happened around the same time. And it just joining your program, hiring my coach, I hired a few other team members around the same time too. We just grew and we just scaled so much. And to the point where now, earlier this year, we launched a certification program, which not only is fabulous, and I have to tell you, Fabienne, because it's such big news, we just got approved by the ICF. So we are now.
Oh my goodness. High five.
We have 2 other accreditations under our belt too. And that is it's a really intensive, comprehensive program. You get 4 certifications in one. We have a retreat involved. There's a business mastermind, but it's also the most high ticket. And it actually has the biggest launch out of all of my programs. So I also have this like model where I really kind of modeled you in a sense that I can now bring high ticket offer to the world and have a lot of scale with it and have a lot of members in it and a really supportive container.
Imagine the lives you are changing just by leveraging. So you entered the program, right? A year and a half ago. It sounds like you were already at 6 figures, but you are making 3 to 4 times what you were making in only one and a half years. That's insane for most people. This is normal here, but for most people hearing that, and it's because you have leveraged a team, you've leveraged systems, right? Because everything was depending on you mostly. You've leveraged your intellectual property. You've leveraged your business model. You have taken what you know and created different offerings. How has all of this made a difference in your life?
Yeah. I feel a lot more supported. I feel a lot more held. We're actually serving a lot more women now than we used to. So like in a way, there is a lot more responsibility. But I also know that like I'm not carrying all that responsibility on my shoulders, that I am obviously the leader and the visionary of the company and the lead coach in that way. But that I have built in such a culture and such a team of support that like I know that we are all carrying these women together, the whole company, not just me. So it feels like I can take more time off, for example. I travel a lot, so I definitely take time off in that sense. I feel like we also have just an option to grow. Like I can actually see a path forward. I think what's so hard when you're an entrepreneur and you want to make more either money or impact is like you can't even feasibly believe in the higher numbers because of all the work it might put on your shoulders, or just like, how would we ever find all those people? You know what I mean? And so I think like the subconscious kind of needs to be able to see the road to those higher, whether it's 7 figures or the next step for anyone, and see how that's actually feasible, not just from like pick a number out of a hat and that's going to be our goal, but like what's the actual roadmap that will take us there. And now like even more so for 2024, I see an even bigger roadmap that is actually feasible, that is actually implementable. Whereas before, I think sometimes my income goals were a little like out of the hat, like just pick a number, and then I was disappointed when we weren't hitting them, but we'd had like none of the systems, the scale, the team, the marketing. It's kind of like the Oprah effect. Like everyone says they want more clients or more money and stuff, but if you were on Oprah and you just got 100 times more, right, clients overnight, like most businesses would implode, So I think working with you has helped me really put all of that together so that if I get on the Oprah show, I can actually handle the demand instead of just like wishing for more, but not setting up the back end to be able to handle more.
Yeah, this is about getting clear about what you want and then reverse engineering all the different leverage points that need to be in place and actually becoming prepared for getting to 10 times the impact, 10 times the income, 10 times the freedom, but without 10 times the work. In fact, working less and being able to take so many weeks and months of unplugged vacation. And when somebody first hears me say that, they're like, what is this woman saying? I'm like, no, this is what we do. It's the whole idea of like working less to increase all the things that we want, including this idea of creating a delicious life as an entrepreneur, as opposed to being on this rat race. What are the and in a minute, I want to ask you when you're going to reach 7 figures, because you probably have a pretty good idea. But first, I want to ask you, what is it about the Leveraged Business Program that really works for you? Like, what are your favorite parts?
Yeah, I think like once you start really growing as an entrepreneur, like your time just gets more limited. And so I really love having the model where we come together every quarter for the full day or the full 2 days. And you can just block it off on your calendar, and really like every single time from those, quarterly meetings, I walk away so rejuvenated. I have such a flood of new ideas. I feel so heard and understood. And I really have this like new sense of like, I think the worst feeling as an entrepreneur is when you feel like you've tried everything and you're like at the end of the road. And I can feel like that almost every month, just for fun. But like after all those meetings, I'm like, oh my God, there's all this that we haven't done yet. And there's all this to grow into still. It just like the more possibility you can see, even if it's like more work that you have to implement, it's because it is like you have to make those changes within your own company. It just like really makes it so much more believable. So I love the quarterly meetings. And what's great too is that we still have the weekly support. So like when someone needs the weekly support, like it's amazing to still have that too. But I think having the more in-depth meetings like a little less frequently compared to like weekly support, like I've honestly joined masterminds and not been able to really keep up sometimes with like the things that are happening because it's like just so much. So I think that like that has been really impactful, and you can really have a huge amount of ahas versus just having like just one coaching call, and that's the whole mastermind per se, you know, on a weekly basis or so. So that's been super, super impactful. And then I think just like seeing what you do modeled too, like having proximity to you as such a respected business leader that's been doing this, like that isn't just like also like an overnight success story. Like you've been doing this for years, like sustainably over and over and over and over again. You know very, very well like what the pitfalls are and what to look out for and how to model your business in the best way. So it's just been really, really inspiring to learn from you for sure.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. I think there are a lot of people. So I've been at multiple seven figures now for 16 years. Like that's like my babies. I have 3 kids. My babies were babies when I got to seven figures. And I think there are not a lot of people at this I don't know how to say this, at this revenue level, at this level of experience, 23 years in coaching, that you can have access to every single week and get direction and like SOS and a lifeline and an answer and all of that. And I feel very proud about that part of the program, just having such a hand in helping you achieve those dreams. What's possible for you in the next 18 months is when I really believe in you. When are you reaching 7 figures, $1 million in your business, Karolina? What's your guess about that?
Yeah, we have a game plan to reach that next year. And the numbers, like if we fell a little short, would still be the most incredible thing that could ever happen. You know what I mean? So we're going to get into that high 6 figures, if not 7 figures next year. And we have basically plans to be able to do that too. So it's not just, again, a number I pulled out of a hat. We know what we're doing. We're going to launch our certification, 2 times next year. We're going to really ramp up the intake for that. It's just a popular program. And we're also going to continue our other programs that really kind of feed into it and just build this real home community where like once you enter my world and the niche that you're passionate about, living alcohol free, or you just want an alternate way, that like you really have a home for a long time. And I think that that's what's so different about my niche is that like sometimes even and other coaches as well, like what we're helping with can be so timely. Like it just helps in that one specific time in someone's life. And then the client is like good to go. And then they go on their merry way. And so like really like engineering, like, well, no, I mean, I've grown so much in my own personal journey. Like there's so much I can help women with, for example, in my kind of client customer journey, someone first, reevaluates the role of alcohol in their life. They take a break. They decide they feel much better without it. And then they start to come alive to these other like passions and the sense of confidence they didn't have before. They start rethinking their day job. They start putting up their side hustle together. They start growing in that way. Maybe they want to become a coach. And then, as even alcohol-free coaches are out there, it's such a new industry. And I feel like even in my shoes now, I have so much more business experience to be able to really help them not run themselves ragged as well. So it's just like the full gamut of the whole experience I've had personally in my personal transformation. We now literally have an offer for every single part of that in my offer suite.
It's amazing. And that's total leverage, right? It's leveraging your business model, leveraging your offerings. So I just want to just really celebrate you. So a year and a half ago, you came in probably low 6 figures.
Exactly, like 6 figures.
Yeah. Exactly. So let's just say you were at 100,000, which congratulations, by the way. That's like the top 5% of business owners, not even just women business owners, all of business owners. Top 5%, if you make 6 figures, you were able to triple or quadruple that to probably to 350, 400. And in a year, maybe a year and a half, you will be at 7 figures. That's like less than 3 years that's like 3 years in the program. 10x. 10x. Celebrating you, Karolina. What would you had to check us out for a while. You took a while, like about a year to jump into the program. What was getting in the way?
Yeah. So I had actually hit 6 figures 2 years in a row. So that was my second 6 figure year. And I barely incrementally grew in that time frame. So just like another, 10K of income or so. So it was like I had been expecting a lot. Like I have really high expectations for my company and my growth. So I was expecting a lot more. So I think it was around that time that I was like, okay, like something needs to change. And I remember going on Amazon and really looking up a lot of books that, I'm not a beginner business owner anymore. I've been in business for like 3 years at that point or whatever it was. And so I was really looking for those books that can help you go from a 6 to 7 figure business. And I remember reading a few, I think they were written by men. They were a little like ops heavy or just like, I don't know, just how they are. And I found your book and it was absolutely the best book I read. Like for someone who's not a beginner anymore, it's actually sometimes more hard to find information that's really relevant for you, like as an intermediate or an intermediate advanced type of person. And so the way that you were speaking to my heart and soul in that book was incredible. And then I probably signed up for your email list and was probably just like, when they call it a sales funnel or like a awareness funnel, I was just sitting at the very top of that awareness level. Like I hadn't really looked into much. I was, enjoying the weekly emails, but really not thinking about much. But knew I really loved your book and wanted to implement more, but probably didn't. I just read the information at that point. And then I think, like I was saying earlier, I was really getting the cues that it's time to join a mastermind, like a higher level mastermind, like not, again, something that like a 22-year-old is hosting, no offense, but like I really wanted to learn from someone who's like literally been doing this for quite a long time. And I was interested in one. And like I said, like there was just this lack of integrity there, like just some red flags going on. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, well, Fabian has a mastermind. I need to really look into this. And so I joined one of the free master classes that you host. And I think right then and there, I just knew that it was definitely time to join. I didn't waffle after. Like once I was like a little further in the like sales funnel of like awareness and nurturing, I didn't waffle one bit. I knew that you were my person. So it does take a while, I think, just to like really, it's incredible to see that customer journey. And that's a great lesson for my company too, is like sometimes it just takes a while. People got busy lives and other like priorities and things that are coming into their consciousness. So it can take a while, but like, I think being an author, which, you are and I am as well, like that really, it builds know, like, and trust in a much deeper way than some other things. So like your book, again, was amazing. And then I read your second book, but your first book, but I read it in that, that order, yes. Which I fell in love with as well. I was like, oh my God, this book is so good. I need to recommend it to my audience as well. So that was kind of my decision-making process. And I think that I just knew that, like, obviously it's a really big commitment, not only just financially, but like the time. Like, I have never even heard of a 2-year mastermind, to be honest. And there was something about it too that was like, this is next level. Like, Karolina, this is you really committing to your business group, not like a Band-Aid solution, not like a little course, not like a little thing like that. Like, you were really taking on this for the next 2 years. And I think that also gave me a lot of comfort that like, you're not going to be expected to make these changes within a month or two. And then if not, you're like behind. I think I like really trusted you to know, like, she's mapped this out. It takes 2 years. This is what my business needs next. And it just felt like really good.
Yeah. I think there's this culture of like fast, right? And we all want fast, but fast can be overwhelming. This whole idea of thinner thighs in 30 days has been like put on us so much that people have told me, people can do the 1-year option, but almost no one does because they like to exhale into the program, exhale into the community, exhale and like really grab hold of all of the resources. And there are so many and you can go at your own pace. But this idea that everything you need is in one place can bring a lot of relief to someone. So hindsight being 2020, you're in the program. It's only been a year and a half. You've quadrupled and you will you know, triple again in the next year to 1 million. When you are thinking about a person who's listening to this and she's been kind of dancing around me and she's maybe read the book and what do you want to tell her now that you're in the program and you know exactly what it looks like and what it's done for you? What would you say to her about being on the fence?
Yeah. I mean, it will definitely change your business. It will change your life. Like you will get, I think what's really popular these days is there's so much energetic information out there, so much about like, act this way, carry yourself this way, say this affirmation, do all this stuff. And I totally believe in that. And in fact, I love that there's this really deep spiritual, energetic side to this mastermind, but it's not without like the actual roadmap side. It's not without like literally the person who's done this for us before for years, 16 years, showing exactly like, this is how to set up systems. This is how to set up your team. This is how to set up like your business growth and like your marketing plans. Like it's just phenomenal in that way. So I think that being like really heavy in both of those two things, like both the strategy, but then also the spiritual and or, an energetic side, I think is super important. And I think it's really popular these days to sometimes only see one of those elements in a program, one or the other, like either a little too strategic and you're just like not connecting with it, or the other way around. Everything is just about you feeling into it. And then you're like, but what do I do? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's really incredible to have really strong, solid bases in that. And I was, talking to friends, I recommended another friend join. Is like, I have never seen anywhere on the internet that's really offering like, literally the how. And I think the how is the hardest part because we don't know the how. We've never done it before. Like you really show us the how in such a concrete way that I just don't think is really being offered out there as much. And I love that it's not this like, we'll build your platform to 1 million people and then you'll make $1 million. It's not necessarily about like this huge audience scale, which is obviously nice too, though. It's more of like, you already have the magic within. You need to tweak these things. Like literally with just tweaking some things is like how we were able to quadruple and maybe even, I don't know what the word for 5 is. We might hit like 500K this year too. So we'll still hold hope for that. Like there's so many things I think of like sometimes a business as like a colander with just water running out of it, And at first, like, yeah, there's huge directions you can take. You can change the shape of the colander. You can do all that stuff. But sometimes there's just like these little holes you need to like plug in, that I was able to do rather quickly in the company. I mean, we literally, the month I joined, started doubling our income, like literally that month. And it's been consistent, if not more since then. So it was like a really quick turnaround too for some of the immediate kind of effects and increase. So that was incredible to just do those things right away. And then we also have the time, the 2 years to really also make the bigger shifts, the things like, maybe the business model evolution or, all the pricing and the systems and the team. And we just did a really big project in my team to like we've had systems, or we had them ever since like I started learning about that. But we just did a really big revamp and revolution of that. We got this new system, like everyone's doing their KPIs now. It's just incredible. And I just would have never even imagined this is like necessary. Like, I think there's a part of us that like when we go away from corporate and we go into our own entrepreneurship bubble, like there's almost like this like, oh, I don't want to repeat any of that stuff because that stuff is too like corporate for me. But it's also like, it's giving the actual belief in your company that this isn't just going to be this small time hobby or jobby I have on the side. This isn't going to be this small beans thing. Like we're actually building something really real and really sustainable that has roots and that can function without me and that has these systems in place so that I actually get more freedom out of it. So, I mean, if anyone's on the fence, like, it's obviously like a big commitment in the sense of the years and the time and all that kind of stuff. But it's literally signaling to yourself that you're ready for your business to grow in that way. So many people say they want more clients or they want more money. And it's like, but what are you doing actually to get there? And I will say from my personal experience, I don't know any 7-figure business owners that got to this place without getting like this level of mentorship. Like I personally believe it's almost impossible. So
I agree. And I got it myself. I had to go here to get the the strategy. I had to go here to get the spiritual. I had to go here to get the personal growth. I had to go here to get women, because all those groups were like full of men. I was like the token woman. And you had to go here to like, how do you do this and have kids and a really lovely marriage? And now it's all in one place.
Yeah.
I am celebrating you once again. Congratulations. I can't wait to connect with you again here in a few months, in a year or so, to celebrate your next level. Thank you for inspiring so many people today, Karolina.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything you do.